There's going to come a point in your creative career where you have to collaborate with someone, where you're working on an idea, a project, an event, something together. Hi there, Jodie Bentley here, actor, producer, and career coach. And today I want to talk to you about how to create a great collaborative relationship. Because look, whether you are a multi-hyphenate or not, there's going to come a point in your creative career where you have to collaborate with someone, where you're working on an idea, a project, an event, something together. And so many times, I've heard from clients, friends, what have you, my own experience, where collaborative relationships don't go the exact way that we had thought or wished or wanted them to. So I want to share with you in this video today 5 steps to really create a collaborative relationship for maximum impact and joy and connection. Okay, so I'm going to tell you these 5 steps in regards to my own experience, which right now I'm working with a writer. We're collaborating on a pilot idea of a story that I've had. So number one, when I reached out to him, we started talking about this collaborative experience we could go on together in terms of writing. I set a very clear result and expectation that I had. And I think that's very important when you start working with someone, is set a very clear result and you both must agree to it, right? So our very clear result and my expectation was I want a first draft of a pilot in 3 months. So we knew that. My very clear result and expectations is based on the story that I'm telling. And I want to have it based in the truth, and then we can expand into other ways of viewing at it. But I wanted it to start from this place that I wanted it to start from. That was a very clear expectation I brought to the table, and he agreed. So that is how we are working together. So no matter what you are doing, again, if it's a writing thing or you're working with a partner in class and getting a scene for your reels, or if you're hosting an event with someone, whatever it is, whatever collaborative relationship that is happening and occurring, I invite you, number 1, to set a very clear result and expectation. And number 2, I invite you to map out together the trajectory of that project, that timeline, or an event of where how that project is going to take place, right? So again, I had set it up. I wanted this first draft in 3 months. We also mapped out together the whole first season, so we knew what we were writing towards. We knew the map along the way of what we were trying to convey. We knew what the 5 acts were of the pilot that we were writing. We knew all those things going forward, and we did it together. Therefore, there's no communication, right? Like if you are hosting an event with someone, you want to have a very clear map of, oh, this should happen, this can happen then, this can happen then, this can happen then. So no one is saying, oh, I thought that was in July. You're like, no, that's in June, right? So therefore, there's no miscommunication if you just take the time, slow your roll for a hot second, and map out what this project is going to be and how it's going to look, and doing it together so you both can agree. Which leads us to step number 3, is learn how to communicate with each other. Look, everyone likes to be communicated with differently, right? And I think it's really important to understand that about the partner that you're working with. One thing I asked my writing partner was, how best do I communicate with you? If I have an idea or I have a thought, do you want me to text you? Should we start an email chain? Do we want to keep a Google Doc of what that is? Because if he doesn't handle texts very well, but I do, all that's going to fall through the cracks, right? So I think it's really important to understand how the other person communicates so you can figure out the best communication together, the best way to fill each other in on tasks that you're accomplishing, the best way to jot down ideas or brainstorms or whatever it is. I think it's really important to understand how to communicate, because if I had just texted my partner, didn't ask that question, and he never responded, I would get mad, right? So save yourself the anger, save yourself the pain, and just suss out together, how are we going to communicate? How are we going to best allow this project to unfold? And along with the communication is to also lay down your own communication boundaries, right? So if you know that, on Sundays, you really need to unplug from work, so please don't reach out to me on a Sunday, right? Maybe that's something that you say. Or maybe you don't want business stuff over text. Maybe you prefer that over email. You're allowed to say that. So again, you get to figure out together how to communicate to get this project done, but you also still get to hold on to whatever communication boundaries that you have so you can function at your highest potential as well, right? Okay, so number 4, stay in communication. This is really important. Don't assume that people know what you're talking about. Don't assume that people are in your head, that they understand everything. We get to be really clear and stay in communication for how the project is unfolding, for how this creative, collaborative relationship is unfolding. It's really important to stay in communication about things, to be to be not passive, to ask for things directly, to ask for updates, to figure out maybe you have a weekly meeting that you do, right? To stay in communication. So how can you stay in communication with each other and always go back to the clear result? Always go back to, well, this is what we wanted to accomplish. This is the timeline we set it in. So let's keep talking about that. Let's keep making that happen. Let's keep moving forward. Because then if you start to veer off, right? If you notice your partner starting to veer off or you're starting to veer off, that you each give each other permission to go, hey, hold on though. We agreed to this result. We agreed to this set of expectations of what we wanted. We agreed to this timeline. Let's stay in communication. So now what's shifting? Do we need to shift? Do we want to shift? Or not, because we want to stick to that clear result that we set out in step 1, right? So it's just so important to stay in communication and speak up if things do go off track from what was originally agreed upon. And speak up from a place of love, not blame. And I want to say that again. Speak up from a place of love, not blame. So it's not, hey, we said this, you didn't do it. It's very blamey, very defensive, right? But hey, when we sat down, we agreed to this. I'm feeling like we're getting off that track. Or my experience of what's been going on is we've kind of forgotten the big vision of what we're moving towards. Can we talk about that? Can we get back on track? Do you see how that feels different? So stay in communication. And number 5, which kind of is doing all of these things, is really, I invite you to step up and be a leader, right? And this is a project you're collaborating together. This is a 50-50 project. Rather, this is a 100-100 project, right? You are collaborating with someone. You are each putting in an equal amount of work, effort, energy, time, love, commitment, everything. So it's not about waiting. It's not about being passive. It's not about letting someone else pull this project up from the bootstraps. It's about you both stepping up and being a leader to accomplish what you want to accomplish. So I trust this helps. So anytime you approach a collaborative relationship, like I said, if you're doing a scene with your acting friend, or you're writing a project, or you're producing a big project, or you're hosting a big event, use these 5 steps to stay in communication, create great solid foundation in communication with your collaborative partner to make it a great experience for you both. Because I know you're starting it to have a great experience, right? Not the opposite. All right, I trust this helps. I'll see you soon. Bye.